Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of the Never Peak Project Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Ranger, and in today's episode, I'm going to be talking a little bit about the upcoming workshop series that I'm putting on together with my good friend Steph Alston in Loomis, California at the beginning of 2025 called Walking Towards Success. This is going to be a 4-part workshop series held in person in Loomis, California at Santosha Yoga Collective. All this information will be down in the show notes. Don't worry, there's not going to be a test at the end. So, really, all I'm going to be doing in this episode is just going over the bird's eye view of week 1, which is vision to action. So, sit back, relax, grab your cat. Mine's off to the side over here, sleeping like a baby, and listen in as I talk about mission, vision, values, worldview, beliefs, declarations, and how to build accountability into your daily life. The very first workshop in this series with Steph Alston is called Step 1, Turning Vision into Action. And this is going to be set entirely on creating a solid purpose for the year that will bleed into your goals, into how you see what is going on around you, your worldview, your beliefs, and help you create systems of accountability in your life to make your New Year's resolution actually happen. An issue that I see all the times, people that I talk to all across the country, or even just day to day now, is that a lot of people don't have a specific vision, mission, or even feel a sense of purpose towards why they want to do certain things. Typically, the New Year's resolutions that we see are things like lose weight, make more money, get a promotion, have better communication with my spouse, etc. It's all of these like very, very basic goals. You know, I can talk about the SMART goal framework, which a lot of us have heard of. But for right now, I want to just take a second to talk about the importance of why. Now, I do a workshop on the side called The Power of Purpose, which I will put in the show notes, and the next one of those is just an hour-long Zoom presentation where we kind of go over this in very small detail. But essentially, purpose is where all the power is. That is what is going to keep you going even when things don't go your way. When things don't go exactly to plan, something goes wrong, something goes awry, it really is what's going to keep you focused on taking that next step. So, for example, with my walk across the country, I spent months figuring out what my why was. And for me, what it really worked was kind of looking at more so as a web of whys, seeing that there's multiple reasons why I want to do this big crazy thing. You know, there is the aspect of I want to meet people across the country. I want to expand my horizons. I want to see the US for what it really is. But I also want to promote something beyond myself. I want to raise money for charities. I want to have a specific mission statement. Having all these different reasons why combined into a singular mission statement, which for the walk was to highlight, learn from, and work with people in the US that are making a real difference in their community, is what kept me moving and motivated and on task the entire 6 months that I was actually walking. And that is why the first thing that we're going to be talking about in the workshop is your mission and your why as to why you're even there. Why are we in this room together? What is our goal with this adventure that we're going on together? So every student is going to be able to walk away with a specific mission and vision statement for the year and their specific goals. Steph and I will sit down and work with each person individually in a group setting and kind of help everybody feel confident in their why. The next thing we're going to be working on is our own specific values. And the reason that understanding and identifying your values is so important is that's what's going to help you make decisions on the day-to-day basis. So, for example, the values of Within Range Coaching, my coaching practice, are fearless innovation, courageous candor, and social responsibility. And those are the 3 driving factors that I use in my day-to-day to make decisions for my company. It helps me decide who I'm going to work with, who I'm going to partner with for events, who I'm going to spend my time with, my money on, especially with advertising or marketing, or even just what I'm going to put my time and effort into in terms of creating workshops or programs for those in my community. It really helps me remind myself of the importance of those day-to-day actions that I take and how important it is to make sure that I kind of filter every action through those 3 lenses to make sure that on the other side comes out something that I actually want to work towards. And in terms of the business aspect of it, I think what people kind of get caught up a lot is that it feels like we have infinite possibilities but limited resources, which is very much true. There are so many different directions and so many different avenues that we can take as individuals working towards our goals that it's kind of hard to decide through the noise what it is that we want to focus on. But by identifying your values and being able to kind of hold those close to your chest, it gives you that opportunity to actually make decisions that work for you, your family, your organization, and just those around you and in your community to work towards the goals in life that you want to create for yourself. And the next thing that we're going to be focusing on is our own specific worldview and beliefs. Now, the reason that it's important to understand your worldview and beliefs is it shows what kind of your own personal biases are, the stories that you tell yourself as to the way that the world works. There's a few quotes that I want to share with you really quick, and the first one is that our own personal experience makes up 99.9% of how we see the world, but maybe only 0.00001% of the way it actually is. Our own individual story, the environments that we're raised in, our upbringing, our parents, our friends, our family, our social circle, all of these aspects really change and shape the way that we see the world. And the way that I kind of describe it is it's almost like a Rubik's Cube. Right? A Rubik's Cube has multiple different sides, multiple different colors, but if you're looking at it only one way your entire life, you really only see it for that one color. So for me, I might just see it as a red cube. Or for somebody else, it might be yellow or green or purple or blue or whatever other colors there are on a Rubik's Cube. And it isn't until we are able to kind of take that cube and start spinning it around that we realize that there are different ways to look at it. There's different ways to see it, and the next level of that is seeing that you can combine these different views into something else that makes more sense for you and is actually productive and resourceful to get you where you want to go. Now, the way that Steph kind of defined it was that it's kind of like all of us have our own colored glasses on, right? Like mine might be red and it might be blue or green or purple. And it isn't until we kind of stop and pause to evaluate the way that we're seeing it might be different from the way that other people are seeing it, that we can really kind of take those glasses off, see the world for what it really is, maybe try on somebody else's, see things from their point of view, that we can start to actually work together and see what would be best collaboratively towards the goal. So the other quote that I wanted to share with you is more so about beliefs. And that quote is that we question all of our beliefs except for those we truly believe in and those we never think to question. Now, the beliefs are just those behaviors or patterns repeated over time and time and time and time. Now, it might be based off of things that we see in the environment. The sun will set and the sun will rise the next day. It might be things that are based out of culture or religion or community or all these different aspects that kind of influence the way that we perceive the world and therefore interact with it. And Steph and I's intention with this workshop series is to really help you evaluate your own worldview, help you identify your triggers, your own biases, so that you can actually work in the world in a way that is most productive, efficient, and effective towards creating the life that you want to actually achieve. So after we kind of break down your why, your goals, help you identify the lens through which you see the world, we're going to be looking into creating accountability for yourself. And when it comes to creating accountability, that's really just making sure that you will do the things that you say you're going to do, that you have a way to check in with other people, that you have a way to actually generate the results that you desire. And I have a couple different metaphors for this one, but the one I want to focus on right now is to look for the cows. Now, it's a little bit funny, it's a little bit silly, but bear with me. When I was walking across the country, I was in Oklahoma, and I saw a big old sign, and I misread it. I'll get more into the story later, but what I thought it said was, if you want to know about the fields, ask the cows. And it got me thinking, how often do we actually set out on a journey and we're looking for guides and we're looking for people to help us along the way, and we ask the wrong people? In this case, if we want to know about a specific field, we want to know where the holes are, we want to know what the soil is like, all these different aspects, it would probably make more sense to ask the cow, the critter that's in there 24/7, 365, 7 days a week, that knows every single inch of that field, right? And if you have ever been around cows or livestock, you know that they'll find any gaps or anything that could either hurt themselves on or fences that they can break through. But for this, it's really about identifying the people that know what they're talking about, that have experienced the aspect that you are trying to create for yourself. And in my case, the cows in this regard, for my walk across the country, would be the people that have actually walked. When I first started planning my trek across the US, I was just Googling things. I was looking for articles, I was asking for people's advice on Reddit or Facebook or Instagram, and I got absolutely useless information. I got things like, make sure you have nice shoes, make sure you plan. If you're asking on a chat forum, this isn't something you should be doing. People would just say things that were kind of like obvious, right? And it wasn't until I started talking to people like Mark, Andrew, Kenny, or all the other people that I kind of chitter chatted with along on the journey that I got actionable, useful, real advice. Those were the people that were in it. They had done the thing. They were the best ones to ask for advice. The level below that is the growers, the farmers, the ranchers, whatever you want to call them. For this, I'll just call them the ranchers. They're the ones that have specialized knowledge on certain aspects. Just like a rancher needs to know what kind of soil there is, how much to feed them, the inventory, how to give medicine, how to check for diseases, et cetera, et cetera. The ranchers are the people that have specialized knowledge in a particular field. So when I was doing my walk, I would ask people at REI for the best shoes. I'd go to the shoe section. I would say, hey, this is what I'm doing. What would you recommend? Hey, I'm having this specific pain, to my yoga instructor. And I would say, hey, which is actually Steph, hey, I'm having pain in my leg. What stretch would you recommend I do? Or to my nutritionist, Marisol, hey, I'm feeling a little sluggish. It might be something in my diet. This is what I've been eating. What would you recommend that I shift or change? Being able to have people along for the journey that can actually help you in these specific regards are incredibly useful. You really want to avoid the people that I talked about earlier that have no idea what they're talking about, and I kind of call those the passerbys. They're the people that drive by the fields, they see something they don't understand, and they immediately form 1,000 opinions on it. That is not necessarily someone that you want to have in your corner when you're trying to do something big or change the world or just change your life. So that's something we're going to be focused on at the very end is how do you find the people that are going to help you towards your goals? And the very last thing for session 1 is going to be setting declarations and actual goals. We're going to help every single participant clearly identify what they want to create between beginning of January to the end of December, and we're going to help them set up these accountability check-ins throughout the way. Everybody that signs up is going to get emails from me every few months to check in on your declarations. That is something that I want to make sure that we make very clear, that this isn't just a one and done. If you sign up for these workshop series, we are with you the entire way in whatever capacity you decide you want us. If you just want the check-ins, great. Those will be every 2 to 3 months. If you want actual one-to-one coaching throughout the entire process, great. We can also do that. If you want to be in a group of people that were in the session, as long as other people want to do it, we will set it up. We want to make sure that we are, as facilitators, as coach, showing up for those that sign up for this program as much as possible. So if you're interested in learning more about the programs and seeing really what we have to offer in terms of accountability, in terms of content, in terms of mentorship, please let me know. Shoot me an email at ranger@withinrangecoaching.com. Send me a DM, send me a message on Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is that is easiest for you, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. So again, week 1 is going to be focused on turning your vision into action. Purpose, vision, mission, worldview, beliefs, accountability, goal setting, all that great stuff at the very beginning. So the second one on February 8th is called Breaking Through the Noise, Quieting the Monkey Mind That Gets in the Way. And this one is going to be focused on how to actually listen to what's happening around you. We'll be going over techniques for active, effective listening and engagement with those around you, whether it's loved ones, friends, family, coworkers, your boss, how to reflect, how to mirror, really tactics to help you be a better listener. But we're also going to be going over how to hear what is really going on inside of your mind. There's something called the sabotaging voice, which again, I'll talk about more in another episode, but essentially that's the inner critic, that little annoying voice in your head that kind of says you're not capable, you're not good enough. I kind of say that when you feel as though you're wearing a tutu is when that voice comes up. I'm too fat, I'm too young, I'm too old, I'm too far gone to start, I'm too bad to get better. That's that voice that we want to identify and learn how to actually work with. Yeah, we're not going to get rid of it necessarily, but we're going to learn how to work with that voice to be more effective and useful in your day-to-day life. Now, the third month is going to be on March 8th, and that one is going to be called Lily Pads and Thistle: How to Leap Towards Your Goals and Land Softly. Now, this one is going to be focused on how to break down big goals into actionable steps, how to really dig out the problems that you're facing on day-to-day life to prevent them from spreading to other areas. Now, this is going to be based off of tactics that I learned while I was walking across the country, things that I realized as I was walking that have happened to me in the past, and some great examples from Steph's life in terms of going from a yoga instructor to owning her own studio. So these really big leaps and jumps that both of us have made in our lives, we want to be able to use that to break down and put into actionable steps for you and your goals. No matter how small, big, medium, extra medium, whatever size your goals are, these are going to be tactics that you can use for yourself. And the third one is going to be on April 12th, and it's called Pick Up the Cat. Now, this one is about receiving unexpected opportunities and your own personal responsibility to keep going. It's going to be really centered around realizing that you are the only one that can make the decision in your life to go from point A to point B, or from 1 to 2, 0 to 10, whatever it is that you want to do, you are the one that is in the driver's seat and able to make the decision to keep going. We're going to be talking a lot about the victim mentality. We're going to be talking a lot about personal accountability and how to make sure that, we only work with you for about 3 or 4 months during this process. And how can you make sure that you maintain that discipline, that motivation to keep going until the very end and create the life that you want and have a life worth remembering. So that is a very brief introduction, about 20 minutes still, going over what this workshop series is really about and why we want to do it. And if you want to learn more, every single Monday at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Steph and I are going to be going live on Instagram to talk about one of these concepts more in depth. So it's not just going to be a quick 20-minute recap with Ranger, just like this episode is. This is going to be 15 minutes about each specific topic leading into the actual presentations. And if you want to just bite the bullet now and get going and start the process, as soon as you sign up for the workshop series, you get access to me and Steph. You'll get added to the school community, Never Peak the First Steps. I will send you additional documents and extra workshops and workbooks to kind of get you started and get that leg up as soon as possible. So if you'd like to sign up for the workshop series, go ahead and hit the link in the description, in the show notes. It's going to be the very first link, so that you can get signed on for the courses. All the prices, all the explanations are going to be there. To just kind of wrap it all up now, I just want to say thank you so much for listening, and I really hope to see you at the workshop series. And until next time, remember to never settle, never quit, and never peak. I'll see you guys next week.